All right. Gina Mizell, go ahead with your question.
Hey, Monty. Obviously, Thursday was the first time you got a chance to do some of that lineup experimentation that you had been talking about. After watching film, just what combinations did you like? What were you intrigued by? Just kind of what's your thoughts on that whole part of it?
My focus was to really lock into the combinations, but maybe a little bit different than you would think. I was really focused on the defensive combinations because Utah runs their offense with precision. They run it hard, and after the first dunk that Gobert got on the dive, we just talked about it in a timeout, and I thought the reaction and the adjustment by Dario to get in there and clog it up was good for us. And so I know there are going to be nights when teams are going to put a four-man at that spot that's a bit more mobile and flexible, and Dario could have his hands full. And I think I hope we have the ability to quickly adjust to that kind of speed, but also putting Cam and Mikal in those spots to defend those positions. And so that was something that I was looking at. And then having Ricky didn't play, so it kind of threw it off a little bit. But I was pleased with Ty and Cam playing the point guard spot, and Javon and Campaign. That combination is something that can be productive for us on both ends, but especially defensively. There was a possession where I think Javon cut somebody off and the guy spun, and Cam was right there to get a steal. And I'm hopeful that those guys can cause or disrupt other teams. And so watching those guys play together was something that I was intrigued by. And obviously I love the synergy between Dario and DA, Book and DA, and then just seeing Frank on the floor was really cool. I mean, he hasn't played that kind of basketball in a long time, and seeing him out there just playing the way he plays, connecting both sides of the floor, taking his shots. Defensively, I thought he was decent in his drop coverages. So I saw a number of things I could go on about the improvements and the things we did well, but that's what I saw just off the top of my head.
All right, Kellen Olson, Arizona Sports, your question.
Hey, Coach. I noticed in the opening of the game there, you had DeAndre on the move when he was doing one of those dribble handoff sets at the top. How much more comfortable are you getting with him in those types of spots where you trust him to be a little bit more mobile with the ball now? Yeah,
I think the only way guys are going to get that comfort level is when they do it in the game. He's been pretty diligent in his work with Coach Bryant and Ricardo, working on his ball handling. But to be able to do it in the game in real time, I think that's where the confidence will grow. And I want him to, explore those options, whether it's, putting the ball down to a DHO or putting it down and faking the DHO and going to the basket. The one thing about DA that I'm learning is he's a willing passer. Even in his post-up situations, he's looking for guys. And so his ability to handle the ball is going to help that. And, I want to see him take those threes that he took. The one that he took in the corner, I thought that was a really good shot. He's got a lot of ability. He's a developing player, and he's getting better. And he has some. After watching the film, he'll admit that there's some areas where he can still improve, especially on the defensive end.
All right, Dwayne Rankin, Arizona Republic. Go ahead with your question.
Thanks. Sorry for the delay. And Coach, if you've been asked this, then you'll have to repeat yourself. Just wanted to see progress with Ricky in terms of whether he'll see action tomorrow, and then two, just as far as Boston, scouting teams in this thing. How does, I guess, with everybody kind of being close in the same spot, is that an easier thing to do now? I'm just curious how that process even works now under these conditions.
Yeah, we're as far as Ricky, he should play tomorrow. He had a a good practice today, and it was probably smart to hold them out. We don't want guys playing when they're not. We're not comfortable. They're not comfortable, and we've been going unbelievably hard in our practice. So I'm looking forward to seeing him on the floor tomorrow. And scouting piece is something that we dive into, but as we get ready for games in this preseason, we're more focused on us right now. We'll probably dive into the scouting piece in our third game, but the first two games we wanted to really lock in on our defense, our offense, our ability to play in 0.5 and different details of our defense. But I don't know if it's easier. I just think everybody's so excited to watch basketball that I'm watching every game that's on TV in my room, and the guys have all the stuff on that they download. So I think everybody's just excited to watch. It makes it fun to scout because we haven't seen this kind of basketball in a long time.
Gina, go ahead with your follow-up.
Yeah, I mean, you've been so cognizant and so mindful of guys' legs and conditioning throughout this whole process, just coming off of a 40-minute scrimmage, getting the day off yesterday. Just how did guys respond? You mentioned that just now that it's still been a pretty hard practice, but how did guys respond just after taking that next step?
They seemed okay, Gina. Yesterday, the guys had a recovery day and a pool workout at the hotel, and everybody seemed in a good place. I talked to our trainers and Brady a ton about the levels of soreness, and typically it's normal bumps and bruises. If you have that, you grade yourself an A as far as soreness. What we don't want to do is have any of our guys in the red as far as playing so many minutes that they're it's hard for them to recover properly and get up for the next day. And so we didn't have any of that yesterday. And we tried to model 3 days on, 1 day off, this whole process. It was something that Bove and Brady and Adam came up with, and I've tried to stick to it as best I can. And I think it served us well. We've had a lot of time in the gym. And when we go hard, like we have, because we have to, there are nights where I shut down the shooting at night just so the guys can recover a bit more at the hotel.
Kellen Olson, your follow-up question.
Hey, Monty, after the game, you mentioned Mikal, obviously like a great game defensively for the most part, but you mentioned there were a few gambles. I saw the one on Mitchell where he got a piece of the ball. Donovan got it back, quick rescreen, open jumper. How do you balance something like that with Mikal where he's a great defender, but you want him to kind of stay within himself in those kind of moments where the job is done, the guy's cut off, you don't need to go for the ball?
Yeah, I think there's a huge time score situation component within playing that kind of defense. When you're early in the clock and you have DA behind you, you can gamble a bit. It's those late clock gambles that can get you in trouble. You've played defense for about 10 to 12 seconds. They move the ball around 3 or 4 times. The last thing you want to do is gamble and give up an open three or dunk or a layup because you just didn't hold the fort down for the last 4 seconds of the shot clock. So it's something that he has to continue to explore. And I want to be careful of, telling him not to take those chances because he's good at it. There's a win to and a win not to in that whole equation that I think, once he figures it out and has that feel for the clock, I think, his aggression can be an asset for us, and it has been. But in late clock situations, we tend to want to be a bit more solid.
A follow-up from Dwayne Rankin. Go ahead, Dwayne.
Okay. Thanks, DC. You talked about, getting in a mode that you don't have time to, ease into this. It's like you have to be ready to go right now. How much has that affected practice and maybe even the mindset of guys that, we're not in a situation where we already got a playoff seeding. We're not in that type of situation. We have to be at an elevated level right away.
I think it's good for us. I think having been in situations when I played or when I've coached teams that were in desperate situations, I think it builds a unique experience and fortitude that can help you in the future. I think it's good for us to be in a situation where every practice, every video session, every game has to be played at a high level. You have to have a high level of focus. And let's be honest, when has this team, this organization been in this situation? It's been a while. And so I think it's good for us. And we have a shot. It's a long shot, but we have a shot. And if you could have posed this situation in Flagstaff last year, I think we all would have taken it based on where we were. And so it is high intensity. There is a lot on the line, but the guys have embraced it. We talked about that from day one, embracing hard. And we've said it, everything you want is on the other side of hard. And we just have to embrace it, know that it's an uphill battle, but to me, that's what brings out the best in us. And I think we're going to respond well.
That concludes our questions for today. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, DC.
First question comes from Dwayne Rankin, Arizona Republic, followed by Kellen Olson, Arizona Sports. Dwayne, go ahead with your question.
Thanks, DC. Ty, what did it feel like getting that start on Thursday, and how you think it went for you?
It felt good. I thought I did an okay job. First half, I think I was solid defensively. Second half had some slip-ups, but overall, I think it was good. I'm not worried about missing shots. I'm going to make shots, so I'm not worried about that. But I thought we did a good job moving the ball. I thought it went well.
Kellen Olson, Arizona Sports. He'll be followed by Gina Mizell. Go ahead, Kellen.
Hey, Ty, I apologize for how specific this question is. DeAndre, at the opening of the game in the first set, had like a dribble handoff sequence where he was on the move and dribbling a bit. What can you speak as a point guard what that does for an offense to have a center that's more mobile in a situation like that, where typically you see the big just kind of stand there, hand off the ball, and obviously getting someone like Rudy on the move is huge for you guys.
Yeah, no, it's huge for us because he can relieve pressure off the guards. If you're being picked up or pressured, it's an outlet to the big, and then he can go start the offense for you. So him being able to do that is huge for us, and he's been special out here. Defensively, he's been talking, more than usual, more than he's ever had. He's been super locked in, super engaged. He's been working, so he's been special. I see him take a huge leap, and it makes all of our jobs way easier.
Okay, Gina Mizell is the next question. Follow up from Dwayne after that. Go ahead, Gina.
Hey, Ty, the last time we talked to you, you mentioned spending a lot of quarantine back in Virginia and working with DeAndre Hunter. I'm just curious if you could expand a little bit more on that as far as what you got out of those workouts, how you feel like you improved, and just how I imagine intense those workouts are going against your old college teammate.
Yeah, it was back to college. I mean, that's what we used to do every day in the summer, work out with each other, play one-on-one against each other. So that was just back to our college days. It was just fun. That's where I think I made the biggest leap in college, playing against a guy like that. So it was good to just, get back to it.
All right, Dwayne Rankin, your question.
Thanks. Ty, obviously Ricky's back, and what's it been like having him back in the fold with you guys and seeing him back out on the floor?
It's awesome. You always want your full team out here. And all the uncertainty that's going on right now. The fact that we're one of the healthier and more full teams out here gives us a chance, gives us a fighting chance.
Ty, thank you for your time. That concludes the questions.
Cool. Thank you.
Morning, Mikal.
Is that Julie?
It is.
What's up, Miss Julie?
All right, let's get started. We're going to open up with a question from Kellen Olson, Arizona Sports. Dwayne Rankin is next. Go ahead, Kellen, with your question.
Hey, Mikal, Monty mentioned after the game last night, or 2 nights ago, sorry, that there are moments for you where the phrase is like gambling, of course, on defense when you're swiping at the ball. What's the balance for you between trusting your instincts and then like having that moment where you should pull away? Because obviously you're a good defender. You know what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, just myself, just knowing when I'm doing it, the good times when maybe a ball screens, less of it, show your hands, make it tough, and don't gamble because then I'll get behind and I'll mess up the whole defense. So just gotta be solid, getting back into playing the game and just reading situations and stuff like that. But definitely, I mean, I was getting frustrated with myself that last game defensively. So definitely gotta be better. And I'm happy the coaches see it and they get on me as well. And then I just, gotta get better.
All right, Dwayne Rankin, Arizona Republic. Your question, Cody Cunningham to follow. Go ahead, Dwayne.
Thanks, DC. Mikal, it looked like you guys came out locked in and focused. Is that what you expected, to have that kind of high level of focus and intensity, even though it was a scrimmage game?
Yeah, I mean, Coach preaches that, we can't relax, every day, every practice, every game, scrimmage, whatever it is, we got to go out there and play hard. We're not guaranteed to be here. So we got to keep just, getting better every day, every game. And we're going to go out there, try to set the tone and just keep playing together.
All right, Cody Cunningham, Phoenix Suns, with your next question. He'll be followed by Gina Mizell. Cody, your question.
Hey, Mikal, I see you're wearing the WNBA sweatshirt. Just how excited are you for the Phoenix Mercury and the W to tip off their season today?
I'm excited. I think it's 12 Eastern, 12 Eastern when they start, I think. But I'm excited. I mean, the Mercury ready, who we got? Skylar Diggins as another backup guard. I mean, who, if you've been watching basketball, you know who she is. So adding that, and I'm just excited, man. Just excited for everybody.
All right, Gina Mizell with your next question. Dwayne Rankin with a follow-up after that. Gina, go ahead.
Hey, Mikal, sort of to follow up on Dwayne's question a couple minutes ago, just that mentality of not being able to take a day off and having that intensity right from the jump as far as when you guys got to Orlando. Can you give us an example of when you've experienced that or seen that maybe behind closed doors in practice for those of us who aren't in there with you guys?
Yeah, it's crazy. We just being in practice and that intensity, we go against each other. Like, we knew how hard we was playing against each other, that we play against somebody else, but we have to have that same intensity. And we're brothers, so we love each other. So we're gonna go hard at each other, but at the end of the day, know that we love each other. So we play another team. That's something we was feasting for, and we was like all energized for. So just Coach Monty just praising that, and everybody being in it for sure.
Dwayne Rankin, your follow-up question.
Thanks, Mikal. Obviously, Coach said that Ricky will probably play tomorrow. Just curious on how you feeling about having him back, and what do you feel like he'll bring right away once he's back on the floor?
Ricky being Ricky. I mean, just facilitate, running the offense. Being that vocal leader. Wish he was out there last game. Everybody, stepped up and we played well. But it's great to have him back. Just he finds me on my back cuts probably the most. So I'm happy he's here for me, selfishly. But as a team wise, I mean, he just so good with the ball, and his voice is on defensively and everything, just helping everybody else out.
Thank you, Mikal, for your time today.
Thank you.
Hey, Mikal, it's going to be 3 o'clock where you are, 12 o'clock here, Pacific time.
Okay. Thank you.
For all of you wanting to watch.